review for Puncture 2011, starring Chris Evans and Mark Kazan. A pretty interesting movie that actually my brother told me about. And so basically, there's this nurse, Vanessa Shaw. Vanessa Shaw, and she's working in the ER, and she acts, and there's this guy, and he's like seizing up, and he's a drug user, and he's like moving a lot, and he's like having kind of like a seizure. She's trying to inject him, with something to help him, and she, injects him, but then when the needle comes out, it also hits her. Then later she finds out that the guy had AIDS, and then she has AIDS now, HIV, and then she's on workman comp, and then she has a friend played by, what's that actor's name? Oh man, what's his name? He's in Starship Troopers. Marshall Bell, good actor. He's got a great scene in Starship Troopers. Oh yeah, he's in Total Recall also. That's right. And he is like an engineer, and he comes up with this needle where once you stick it in someone, pull it out, and it retracts back into the plastic. So that would fix the situation. He's been trying to get all the hospitals to adopt the needle. One hospital adopted it, and he has a contract with them. He supplies it to them, and he's friends with Vanessa Shaw. So, but none of them will adopt it because they all have all these contracts, and it gets into this later. So then she contacts Chris Evans, who's a lawyer, with his partner Mark Kazan, who's also the one of the directors of the movie. I think with his brother Adam Kazan, Mark Kazan, and they're partners. They're both lawyers. And she wants all the hospitals to adopt this, but they won't. The guy Bell, the actor, plays the engineer. He's been going to all these hospitals trying to get him to adopt them. So then they threaten to sue if they won't adopt these. Like Vanessa Shaw doesn't even want money, because I don't know. She's already on workman's comp, and they're like, we don't really have a case there, but So that's the story, that they're trying to get all these hospitals to adopt it. The synopsis is a David and Goliath law drama about a drug-addicted lawyer who takes on a health supply corporation while battling his own personal demons. Yeah, and at the same time, Chris Evans does every drug under the sun. He's addicted to all of these drugs. He's a really good lawyer though. But that gets in the way. Like, he misses meetings. He, is doing all these drugs, and he hangs out with all these drug addicts as well. So that's all in the mix too. Yeah, they're basically David and Goliath. They're this small law firm going against, this multi-billion-dollar industry, which is like the medical supply industry. And he contacts like a senator. She's on their side for a while, but then she drops it though. She's like, she doesn't want anything to do with it anymore because the medical supply industry makes a massive contribution to her campaign. So the movie even gets into some kind of politically, the corruption that goes on politically. So very interesting movie. Pretty good. I liked it. Chris Evans is a pretty good actor. I've never seen the other guy, Mark Kazan. but he's also a director. He co-directed the movie. Chris Evans, he's good as Captain America. He's in this movie about a killer called the Iceman, which he's pretty good in too. But let's see, what else is he in? I don't know. I haven't seen tons of movies with him, but obviously, he's Captain America. He's great as Captain America. Definitely nailed the casting on that. Oh yeah, he's in Sunshine. That's a pretty good movie. Yeah, the Iceman. Should rewatch that. That's pretty good. Like I think he plays like he owns like an ice cream truck, and the Iceman who kills people, and he's also like a mob hitman. He then sometimes uses him, I think, to put bodies in there, and he freezes the bodies. He's in Free Guy. I've been meaning to watch that, but I won't go through all the plot and everything. But I really liked it. It's pretty well directed. It's like an hour 50 or something minutes. It's kind of interesting. It's co-directed by two brothers, and one of them is the co-star of the movie. So that's kind of different. It's kind of sad because Vanessa Shaw, she gets AIDS, and then later, like, she has problems. Her insurance company drops her for pre-existing conditions, and then later she dies. The movie doesn't really follow her much at all, but she's kind of the driving force for Chris Evans to get justice. And he goes up against this massive law firm, and it makes it so that that like they even get other law like this other law firm that gives them work sometimes, Chris Evans and Mark Kazan, to stop working with them. They can't pay their bills, they're like going bankrupt. So but the movie comes, makes some interesting points. I don't know how, I mean, it sounds true enough to me. I mean, I think that the movie's based on a true story of this guy, and it comes up some interesting points about how in the hospitals needles used to be glass, or well, they were metal, but they glass tubes, and the hospitals would keep them because they would sterilize them themselves. And then in 1966, I think it said, that's all started to change, and and then like 15 years later, you have AIDS emerge because there's plastic needles, which then got all over the streets, and people are using them with drugs. Whereas when they were glass, it's way harder. It's way more controlled. There's way less of them. I mean, the more expensive, obviously, because the plastic is much cheaper. So makes some interesting points there. I've never even thought of that. I'm not sure how true that is, but it is interesting to think about that did change. Because you watch like in old movies, and like in the 50s or something, and they're in a hospital, and they're using glass. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, the movie makes some interesting points. It's the little guy versus the giant corporations, and the politicians are corrupt too, and it's just all about the bottom line, because these needles cost like 3 or 4 cents more to produce each than the normal needles, and they don't want to adopt it. And then it gets into the corruption of like the hospital people that are buying the products from the manufacturers. Like, they get commission too, so like there's an incentive to be corrupt there. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. Chris Evans is really good in it. So is Mark Kazan. I mean, he plays like the like his old friend that I think they mentioned, like they've known each other since like they were kids. But he's the more straight laced guy. He has a pregnant wife. He doesn't really party. He doesn't do the drugs and everything. He may like drink with him a little bit, but he's he's trying to hold everything down, pay all the bills. So, but I'll get into spoilers now. So in the end, actually, the guy Bell, the actor who invented the needle, the big corporations want to buy his company out, and he'll be really rich. And also, then the law firm will get a cut too, so then they'll be able to pay their bills. They'll get some money too. Mark Kazan wants to do it, but Chris Evans doesn't want to do it. And in the end, they tell Mark Kazan tells his client to do it because they're going bankrupt. No one else will take this case. But in the end, Chris Evans, I mean, the movie kind of hints towards this. Maybe he was killed, possibly. There's nothing definitive because in the end he overdoses. But the movie definitely has that hint going on. Pushes you in that direction. But and then in the end it says that they don't know how he died. I mean, well, they know how he died. He overdosed, but there's nothing suspicious the police say about his death. So never know. And says there was like $150 million settlement or something, and now a bunch of hospitals use those needles. So, which is good. I mean, because they're saying there's over 800,000 accidental sticks a year by nurses and doctors, probably mostly nurses, and so they can get hepatitis or HIV or other viruses and diseases, so it could help prevent that. But it's an interesting movie. I liked it. Shows kind of the corruption that can go on behind the scenes that you don't even really think about. I haven't seen any of the other movies these two brothers, I think they're brothers, directed. Before We Go, let's see, what is it? Broken Soldier. The guy's in Jobs, the movie. No, they've only directed a couple movies. This is their last one they did. So, but I don't know. Maybe his brother directed more. Let me see. Yeah, so he went on Adam Kazan went on to do Criminal Confessions, Murder for Hire. Oh, but yeah, I think that's about it though. Good movie. Check it out. Puncture. Chris Evans. So, like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.